good morning. This is Pierre Laguerre here, your daily motivator, coming at you today to challenge, inspire, and motivate you. So today on episode 446, we're going to be talking about your time. Have you put in your 10,000 hours yet? And this is a real important question because a lot of us, we want to get out there, run up, run ahead, and think we got it covered. We don't have to do much that. It doesn't take that much more time to get things done. So let me bring it home for you. This week, I was listening to one of my mentors talking about how he's been studying billionaires and how 99.9% of them didn't reach $1 million in income until well after a year. It took them years, a lot of them, with the only difference being Jack Ma of Alibaba, who did it just under a year. Of course, we don't know what kind of roots he had built with his system and the business that he had. But I'm here today to remind you that your time is actually your greatest asset. So because your time is your greatest asset, and I've been talking to you this week on sales and marketing, I want to remind you, it's gonna take time to develop those things, to develop a course. It's gonna take time to get out of your comfort zone, as I shared on episode 440. But then once you recognize what business you're in, and then you start working your way to generate leads and ultimately start increasing your sales, you're gonna recognize, wait, it's gonna take time to revamp your headlines. What worked yesterday is not working today because the competition is more fierce. So eventually you're going to get to a point where you recognize, wait, I've got to put different types of offers out there. So for example, yesterday I talked about 7 irresistible lead magnets. Go ahead on that page, podcast 445, and take a listen. And also take advantage of the free cheat sheet that I put out there, which has 31 total irresistible lead magnets on it. My point to you is this. It's gonna take time to do things. It's gonna take time to achieve something worth achieving. So, question is, will you take the time to understand the value that you bring to others? You see, you are bringing value to other people. Whether you are on a job or you are an entrepreneur, you are bringing value, and because of that value, there's an exchange happening. Now, some people have downright not appreciated the exchange or your value, otherwise they would have given you something in exchange for your time and skills. So when we're talking about your value is measured in your time and your skills. Your skills, of course, that's what you did. You went out there, you got the experience, you learned, you got the wisdom in the process, so that now you can bring value to somebody else. And this is important because you have taken the time up front to bring value. And now once that you've brought value, there's got to be an exchange. So I want to ask you, do you know your value? Because with your value, you are increasing other people around you, others that you are serving. And of course, if you are serving somebody or many other people and they're not exchanging the right value for value, you need to start setting some boundaries. You need to start making it clear to them that the cow does not come with the milk. And if you understand what I'm saying here, it's very simple. You need to let people understand, look, I'll only go so far. And then beyond that, there's got to be a fair exchange. Now, some people don't think it's that important, but let me hit you up with a biblical verse. The laborer is worthy of his hire. In other words, the wages that you receive for the job that you do, you need to absolutely receive them. Those things need to be set and agreed upon. If somebody violates them, then they're showing that they do not truly value you on that level. And so you have a choice to make. Are you gonna keep sowing towards their vision? And again, that's a tough choice because you have to move beyond being in unforgiveness. You have to learn to let go of certain things and decide to still sow. So let me make it rhyme for you. You have to decide to let go so you can sow. Otherwise, you will not get to really accomplish certain things you want to do, because unforgiveness will hold you back. And of course, for me, on these Saturday weekend reflections, I'm ministering to you, the person that you are. I want to share with you things that are important, because I've talked about business all week long for 5 or 6 days, but on this weekend reflection, I want you to think about something that matters to your business. So in this case, it is your time. How precious is your time, especially when it's the greatest asset that you have here on earth? Your time will expire someday on earth, and then you will end up going up to heaven, or hopefully not, down to the center of the earth where hell resides. So you have a choice how you spend your time, what you do with your time. So I want to ask you a question. If you want to build a business, how much time do you think it's going to take to build that business? I talked about the billionaires that my mentor was researching and learning about. It took a lot of them many years before they reached $1 million in income. So you may step out there and say, I'm going to do this in 3 months or 6 months or a year. But in reality, do you have a plan? And a plan that maximizes the return on your time investment. Because at the end of the day, if income is what you want, or influence, or impact, you're going to have to make a decision. One of those ins or ims, you're going to have to decide how much time is going to take to achieve that level of income, influence, or impact. So my question always is, will you put in the 10,000 hours? And this is where we look at people that are virtuosos, people that are full of wisdom, people that have basically, they're like geniuses. But in reality, what makes them a genius? The years of obscurity when they were in training. Just like that virtuoso piano player, that child may have been born with a gift, but the parents had to develop that gift. They had to put that child in some school that could even take that seed that child was born with, although highly developed already, more developed than some adults. They had to take that child prodigy and put him in training. You see, regardless of the size of the seed you're born with, you're still gonna have to take that seed and let it grow, let it become a tree. You see, nobody's born making $1 million out of the belly, unless maybe you are a king's kid and they want to come to you with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Well, that was Jesus, of course. After he was born, we know months later that 3 magi, and actually in the Bible it doesn't say 3, it simply says the magi, those guys, they were looking for him. They came from the east and they were looking for the one who was born king. So my point to you is, you were not born, and even him, he was born in really poor circumstances when you think about it, being born in a manger, right? But the resources that you are looking for, and this is the thing I want you to take time out for, what are the resources that you need? What are the resources that you desire and want? Because it's all available. I was speaking to one of my friends and business colleagues, and we were talking about the fact that there's no scarcity on earth. This ball of magma covered with a crust that man is saying, oh, I got to go here to find opportunity. I got to go there to find opportunity. I submit to you, it doesn't matter where you live on earth, no matter how bad things are, if you discover God's kingdom, the way he does things, and you follow his voice, just like Isaac, who wanted to go down to Egypt, and God told him, wait, stay in Gerar, because I'll bless you there. And Isaac, son of Abraham, he stayed in Gerar. And when he stayed there, it is said that he sowed in that land. Again, it took him time. But in a year, he reaped 100-fold. What is it about Isaac that he discovered that did this? And of course, scholars have gone back and studied the scripture in the time of Isaac, and they found out that the man had discovered irrigation. In a desert, irrigation makes a huge difference. And to this day, Israel actually still exports fruits and vegetables because of the irrigation they've done in the land. So imagine when you take the time, number one, to hear the Lord, there are things He's going to reveal to you. And as you take time to write them down and understand everything He brings to you, some of it may be for 10 years out, and some of it may be for this very year that I'm sharing this with you. So you need to take the time and go plumb the depths of what He's put in you in terms of the gift He's put in you. For me, I'm exercising this gift that I have to minister to people, to encourage people, to challenge, inspire, and motivate you to take action towards your destiny. But you know what? If I don't exercise it, I feel for me daily, I will end up losing it. Meaning it's something that's in me that I know is there to inspire others, to motivate others. It's not for me alone, right? So I want to encourage you today to take the time out. Take a blank notebook and start writing down things about your destiny, things that have been spoken over you, prophecies you were given since you were a child, and start really recognizing where did you veer off along the way? Where did you stop putting in the time to develop the gifts so that you can increase your value to those that you are going to serve, to the kings that you're going to serve if you are a David or a Joseph or a Daniel, right? And of course I name men, but this applies to you as well if you are a woman, so it's genderless. My point to you is God has deposited a gift in you. And right now you may be working on some job, and you may be dissatisfied, you may be making a lot of money, and you may not find the time to spend with your Lord, your God, in prayer and meditation, right? In quietness. You may not find the time regularly to spend with your spouse and children, right? You need to find that time. You need to actually put that time on your calendar. As I said in one of my podcast episodes, if it's not on the calendar, basically you're playing, let me see. Maybe I'll do, maybe I won't. So I hope that this is inspiring and challenging you. What I'm going to invite you to do, if you are an entrepreneur, a business person, somebody with a dream, moving towards building your own business, I'm going to invite you to download a copy of The Most Profitable Business Model Yet. And you can go to eontheMove.com/podcast 446, this podcast page, and you will find it in the description on the page with a link there. And of course, yesterday's lead magnets, if you are a business person, go ahead and do yourself a favor. Listen to those 7 irresistible and powerful lead magnets, and then download the gift that I have for you on that page. And the page is eontheMove.com/podcast 445. That's yesterday's podcast. You can find it when you go to eontheMove.com/podcast. You can see all my prior podcasts there. But here's the thing that I have for you. As a leader, as somebody who's actually in business, I'm speaking to you. I want to help expose what you're doing. You see, this podcast, I've been going 3 months straight, nonstop, every day, because I've been doing this podcast for a few years. But finally, I got serious about it, and I wanted to make sure I got in front of more folks. If you want your business, whatever you're doing, to get in front of more people, I do have a small audience that I'm grooming and sharing more with. I would love to share what you're doing with them. It's probably going to be another opportunity for you to, of course, work on your elevator pitch, to share with people what it is you do and why they should look to you when they're thinking about that thing. So I'm inviting you to be my guest on this podcast. Go ahead to eonthemove.com. That's eonthemove.com/guest. GUEST, and be ready because I have some questions for you on that page. There's a short questionnaire, and I'm gonna quickly ascertain whether or not we are a good fit, and then we will follow up and get you on the calendar immediately. so that we can interview you and understand what it is you bring to market and how, by exposing you to this audience, you can yet find another avenue to expose your product or service to more and more people that are listening. So again, it's Pierre Laguerre, your daily motivator. Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this podcast. Feel free to go on the page, eonthemove.com/podcast 446 and leave me a comment. Let me know you're listening and feel free to share as well. I'll catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.